Hey, this is LaNita Cloninger. I am a member of the Board of Directors at Asheville Community Theater, and I would like to share one of my many ACT memories with you. Oh, wait, let me get this off. I swear I don't wear it all the time. I was the diva in 2010, but let's get back to the story. The story is that I started out at ACT doing all kinds of volunteer work. It was amazing. I did a little bit backstage. I sewed. I helped paint a little tiny little bit. I helped with props. Helped in the box office. I sold advertising. I just volunteered to do just about anything anybody asked me to do. And in the process of all that, I learned a great deal because I'd never had any drama experience. I didn't even know what stage left or stage right was when I started. But along the way, I auditioned, got a few parts, and was also a stage manager. That's where my story begins. I was stage manager. One of the shows was Narnia, and it was a musical. So we had been through all our weeks of rehearsals. Cindy Baldwin was our director, and Gary Mitchell was the music director. And we got on stage, and they started putting the stage manager up in the booth above everybody's heads and where they could see the stage really well. Used to, the stage manager sat just behind the curtain on one side or the other, behind the proscenium. The proscenium, by the way, is that frame that covers, goes over the stage, the wooden part, not the curtains. Anyway, that was one of the things I learned. Now you've learned something. Anyway, so as stage manager, you're really in charge of the show once the director turns it loose. You're the one that takes the reins and directs from that point on. So at one of our performances, the cast we were getting close to the end of the show, and the end of the show, in case you don't know it, is a huge fight scene. Everybody that's in the cast is on stage, and there's little fights everywhere all over the stage. It's a huge scene. Anyway, so in this previous scene, one of the lead actors had a mallet that was made out of styrofoam, and he had broken it on something. It came apart, which made the end of the mallet flat instead of rounded like it was supposed to be. And we didn't have time to tell the rest of the cast that that's what happened. So when the fight scene started, which was all children, by the way, there was maybe 10 adults in this show, but most of the people in it were under the age of 20. Several of the lead actors were 12 to 15 years old. So the fight scene starts, and we had an open pit, and Gary Mitchell, who was the music director, was down in the pit, and he was directing from down there. So one of the lead actors who had the broken mallet was on stage, let's see, it would be stage right, and he went to fight with one of the really bad guys. They were right in the front of the stage, and the other kid got tickled because the mallet was really weird looking. And even though we had rehearsed for weeks and weeks and told these kids that they couldn't back up just so many steps or they'd fall in the pit, this kid got so tickled he took 4 steps back instead of 3, and he landed on Gary Mitchell. Now, Gary Mitchell tried to catch him, but he was a big kid, so I mean, you know, almost as big as Gary, and he falls on Gary. Gary falls off of his stool down in the pit, and all of a sudden from up in the booth, I see Gary Mitchell's hand come up out of the booth and starts playing the fight scene song again. It was like dun 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 dun, and I'm screaming. I'm screaming my headset because I can't figure out exactly what's happened or if somebody's gotten hurt. So, long story, but my assistant stage managers goes down to the pit, finds this kid that had fallen, finds out that he's okay, comes back, tells me on the headset that he's okay, a little bruised, but he's okay. My only instruction at that point was to make sure that he came out and made his curtain call, that he didn't sit backstage. He actually had to come out and make a curtain call because everybody wanted to know if he was okay. So at the end of the show, he and one other character always came out and did their curtain call, their bows at the end together. He got a standing ovation. And that's one of my ACT memories. Thanks.